All right, Ike. So in the news, actually not this week, it's actually from a few weeks ago. We kind of glazed over it. And it's
Mhm.
funny, in talking about the show run today, we're like, wait, did we already talk about that? No, I'm like, no, no, no. It's a different trophy edition thing. We, of course,
Yeah.
already talked about the Defender trophy or Land Rover trophy or whatever they're calling it, camo Tiny Ike.
The new classic Defender Trophy Edition,
Right.
and this one is the new Defender Trophy Edition.
That is
Not to
correct.
be confused. I can't see how you would get those confused,
No, it's
but
super
this is
straightforward. Yeah.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
the new generation, current year Trophy Edition Defender. Correct?
Absolutely correct. That is
All right.
absolutely correct.
All
And
right.
they've done this before. This is the Sandglow wrapped car,
Yeah.
and as part of that, I think they're between 95 and 100 and some odd $1,000.
Hmm.
And as part of that, you get to go to, I assume, in North Carolina with the Denver experience
Asheville.
there, and yeah,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
you do the little event, which sounds super cool. And if you win that event, then they send you to Eastner and you get to do like a wrap up event there, like a big one in the UK, which is kind of cool. And I don't
Yeah.
know if that coincides with the camo trucks in the UK or if it's a different one. Yes, you are right. This is the new Defender, and you have not seen this livery
No, no,
yet.
we've been deliberately keeping this a
Yeah.
secret because we're gonna do the unveiling and
The
reaction
live
here on the show.
reveal reaction. So
Yeah.
if you haven't gone over to our YouTube channel to see the video versions, which we've been working on to make them more watchable by cutting more of us out of it, you'll be able to see Ike's reaction to this vehicle. So Ike, I'm going to text it to you now. Do you have
All right.
your device ready?
I am ready with my device, and I await your text
Okay,
with a
here it
photo
comes.
of this vehicle.
Here it comes. Here comes the photo of this vehicle, the Defender Trophy, and this is the 2023, I guess,
All
2022,
right,
whatever.
here it
It's the
is.
current model Defender Trophy. So,
I'm
first impression.
I'm opening the text. This is
Okay,
my
open the text.
genuine impression. Holy
Okay.
biscuits! Look at that thing.
Oh
I'll
wait,
be
no,
darned.
that isn't the car. That isn't the car. That's something. Don't tell anybody about that. No, no, no. No. Actually, a rash.
We got a
Yeah,
three-tone paint job here.
three-tone
We got
paint job, yeah.
it's black on top. I'm describing it for those of you that haven't seen it. Black
Yep.
on top, so
Yep.
black roof panel, and then a blackout hood.
Mhm.
And the blackout panel is not covering the entire hood. The
Right.
the hood itself is white,
Right.
along with the sections that go around the tread plate on
Yeah.
the what would be the fender tops, but is a
That's right.
larger hood on this car.
Yep.
And then it has a white belt line stripe that
Mhm.
goes down the side that separates the black top from the sand glow body.
Right.
And this is a wrap, and I don't know. I'm assuming this car is a black car to begin with. Is that right?
I believe it's a white car this time.
It's a white car. So
Yeah,
the
the
top,
original
the
ones
wrap
were
on the
black.
top is black. I see.
I think it has the optional black roof, and it might have the glass roof.
Mhm.
And then it has, yeah, I believe it's a white car, and then it has just sand glow, or I think they call it Eastern yellow now, but sand glow on the sides, and then black
And
on the bottom, and then black.
This
black
one has the
skid plates.
Defender trophy logo on the side of the door. It's
Mhm.
probably about what would you say, 14 inches tall and 2
Big
feet
logo.
long.
It's a big logo.
It's
Yep.
a big logo.
Mhm,
And then you've
mhm,
got black wheels.
mhm,
This one has the side ladder and the roof rack.
mhm.
And I think the previous one had a winch on the front, didn't it?
Yeah, and in this it has the cover on the A-frame bumper, like there might be
Uh-huh.
a winch back there. I don't know that that necessarily means there is a winch. I don't know if they fit that same A-frame with and
Mhm.
without the winch. But anyways, yeah. The part that I find quite startling,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you agree, is that the door handle is still white.
The door handle is white, and if you were to look at this photo, you might think that somebody had retouched it
Mhm.
and had, deleted the door handle area, because it does look like a blank section within the frame of the door, which is all sand glow. And so the door handle and the recess through
Yeah.
which you put your fingers, that is all white. What I think is interesting about this car is actually the belt line
Hmm.
stripe of white. It
Hmm.
is kind of where you would traditionally see on a Defender would be the capping on a
Yeah.
Defender.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that is something that if I had a new Defender, I would kind of use that as a design detail,
Hmm.
because it is
Hmm.
kind of um it's kind of hidden or
Yeah.
lost in most of these Defender cars. That belt line is not really distinct, and on this car it is. I'm not sure I love the white treatment. In my case, I would probably do like a silver or
Hmm.
something like that to
Hmm.
sort of mimic the galvanized capping. But I think that is an interesting feature of this car. Yeah, but the three tone it definitely threw me for a loop. I was not expecting the three tone situation.
When I first saw it, I actually went and did a little digging to see if like this was something that somebody had just photoshopped. I honestly thought for a second, like, well, wait, no, that's not the real car. It's funny because the Beltline piece, I thought exactly the same thing. I thought, well,
Yeah.
this is the first time where you actually feel that division between roof and
Hmm.
body the same way that you would on any car with a galvanized capping, older Defenders or any series car. And I actually really like that. I think that's a neat design element. I don't know that I love the white surround of the hood and that it sort of the white kind of falls down into the grill.
Yeah.
Um, I think the black car wrapped just on the sides like this car is looked quite cool. It looked conducive and sort of, but I like that they've done something different. They're not just making the same car again. You can get this. I don't know if you could get the old one in a 90. I think you probably could, but the one that we're looking at is a 90. It has the super cool little fold out side ladder, which I still think is one of the best ladders. Maybe not the best use of space on your Defender. There's better things you can probably hang over that rear window, but it covers the signature panel, which is all that matters. Um, you can use that side ladder. I think it's super functional, and it does look like it has a Land Rover roof rack on it, even though the Land Rover roof racks have been obsoleted because they are not safe to carry any load. Apparently, they
Hmm.
bend extremely easily, and so you can no longer configure a Defender with one. And they're working, I guess, on a redesign, and they'll replace. I don't think they're going to replace anybody's roof racks, but the newer when you can order it again, it will be a redesigned roof rack.
Roof rack that cannot safely carry any load is not a
No, it's not
not
great.
something you want. That's not an optional equipment, a
Uh,
piece of optional equipment you want. But
yeah,
given that that very few people put things on the roof rack, maybe it's not a big
maybe
deal.
it's
I don't
fine.
know.
Maybe it's fine. I don't know. And I think it's more like if you were up there and certainly, I mean, the my Trek Defender has that Land Rover roof rack, and I get what people are saying. Like you feel flex in there that you don't maybe climbing around on the Brown Church roof rack on the Camel Trophy Discovery, but it probably weighs about 1/15th of what that Brown Church rack weighs. The
Sure.
Brown Church rack might weigh as much as the entire new Defender. I don't know, but it is it's not the most sturdy piece. But the nice thing is there's lots of great third party roof racks for the new Defender already. There's super cool ones from
Hmm.
a number of different companies, and of course, if you can get Front Runner to sell you one, they have a nice one, and then there's some other ones
They'll
too. And
sell you a rack, just not any
you
feet.
only if you promise to use it exactly like you told them you would. Never do anything, never deviate. Keep it exactly the same. So, anyways, that's the new Defender trophy here in North
Yeah.
America. So, if you want one, I think like I said, I think they're about right around 100 grand, and you can get them. They are at dealers. There's a couple here in LA for sure. As both dealers have called me to see if I want one. I said I'm full up. Thank you guys. But the
So
event sounds cool.
what's your takeaway, hot or not, on this? What's your gut feeling
You
on
know
this?
what? I would probably I've seen the original one close up. I
Yeah.
personally, again, this is my personal opinion. I probably would wait
Okay.
for the new Trek Defender, the 23 Trek event Defenders
Okay.
to go for out for sale. I think if you really want a car and you want it as an off-roader and you want all the widgets and gadgets and the little hangy-doos and things, the Trek prepared cars that I believe Lucky 8 is doing again, if not some outfitter is doing, um, are a little more rugged and they're a little more meant for sort of, real off-roading. If you want a
Sure.
car that is super capable and like the Defender is and kind of has some fun gadgets on it and has an interesting aesthetic, I think this is a great car. And it comes with the whole trip to the North Carolina event, and then maybe if you do well there, the Eastern event, like that's great. I think that's a neat experience, and I applaud Land Rover for making a product that comes with a little adventure. I think that's really cool. I mean, that's what they're for. They were invented for doing work and having adventures and things like that. And so the fact that you have one built in with your new trophy Defender, I think that's cool. I think that's kind of cool. So you know what? I like the idea, even if I maybe don't love every aesthetic element of the car. I'll say that.
Fair.
What do you
Fair.
think?
I'm with you. I agree.
So another piece of news, and I know this is something that is very near and dear to your heart, our very good friends at the YouTube video channel Archonix, that also occasionally produce Defenders, has a new partnership. As we know, Archonix is big when it comes to partnerships and making things that aren't Defenders, right? They've done the watch made out of Defender parts.
Yep.
Now, Archonix vehicles are expensive. They are a very high-end, restoration resto mod of a Land Rover. Not everyone has the hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes that one of these cars can cost, but maybe you have 1/10 of that. In that you can now purchase through a partnership with the RC car manufacturer Traxxas, an official 1/10 scale Archonix Defender. So you
Mm.
can have a little mini, and I'm going to text you a photo. This is again
Please.
a blind reveal
We're gonna get the
for Ike.
reaction here.
The live reaction. So here is a photo of the 1/10 scale Traxxas Archonix Defender,
All right.
and
I'm opening
you'll
it now.
notice, yeah, you'll notice
Holy
that it
buckets.
is. Look at that, right?
Yeah, it's got a like a little D-rings in the front, and it's got a
Yep.
tiny little winch that does not look to be functional. It's got
Yeah, I'm not
like a
sure.
hood bulge, a power bulge on the hood, NAS style roof rack, fender flares that are pretty darn wide.
Yeah, it is. It is 3 times as wide as a normal Traxxas RC car for
You
sure.
know,
Just like
12
the
year
real
old
thing.
12-year-old me loves this.
Uh huh.
12-year-old me loves this. This is great.
Now, I think you can't really appreciate it entirely until you've seen. They have a couple of pictures, and I'm struggling to find them now. But they have a couple of pictures of the tiny Traxxas car parked right next to the full-sized Archonix Defender, and it is just the cutest. Here, I found one, and I'm gonna send it to you. It is absolutely the cutest little Defender that you can hope to have. Now, the thing is not only is the car 1/10 the scale, but the price is also 1/10 the scale. So this is an $1,800 RC car.
What
So
does the normal Traxxas non-Arconic Defender cost?
I'm glad
Because they
you
make
asked.
a Defender body for
They do make a
yeah.
Defender at $250. So
Okay, so this is a $1,600 premium
yes,
on this remote control car.
that's
And
correct.
what is it in now here's a question.
Yes,
Here's a question.
yes.
Does the roof rack on this remote control car safely hold more than the factory Defender roof rack?
I believe it does. Yes, I believe it does. I believe this car is rated for a higher load on its tiny roof than the real Defender is on its actual roof. Now, it is important to know that the car
Yeah.
actually has real working four-wheel drive,
Yes.
which is kind of fun, and that it packs a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is mated to a Titan 550 motor. I don't know what any of that shit means,
No.
but
No.
but
I
I
think the Titan motor is just a scale model of the 2.5 turbo diesel that they put in the full size Arconics, isn't it?
it is legal for import into the United States, though, this
Yeah,
particular RC car. So yeah, it is.
man.
Yeah, it's a premium. It's a premium Defender RC car
Wow.
from our good friends at Archonix, which I have to say, those guys have a knack for taking something that you would normally pay hundreds of dollars for and making it cost thousands of dollars. It is a special skill. I mean, I don't knock them. That is, and it does have giant wheel arches, and it has all the things. It has all the things that you
This
want.
if you're a child of a crypto bro, this is what you buy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get in your scaled electric Tesla that you can drive to the park to then drive your Archonix RC Defender. So anyways, I've ordered one and it should be here next week. So it's gonna be great. I'm
I
looking
can't
very
wait. I
forward
can't
to it.
wait.
I'm looking
Yeah,
very forward to it.
this is amazing.
Yeah, it's
I
a
love
pretty
it.
good little car. So that's that. So on to this afternoon's exciting interview too. It's a double header, which we don't
A
normally do.
twofer.
A
It's a
twofer,
twofer.
if you will. You've only paid nothing for this podcast once. You won't
Yeah.
have to pay nothing twice. And
BOGO.
so that's fantastic. So we've got both of the SoCal Rover Club Eds. The
2
team of
Eds.
Ed and Eddie. You're not going to
Yeah,
have to pay any extra. You get both Eds for the price of one,
it's true.
which is free. So we're going to talk to Ed and Eddie about the SoCal Rover Club's upcoming Rover Rendezvous, the 22nd year, by the way,
I'm excited
Rover
to hear about
Rendezvous
that.
event.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I'm looking super forward to it. And then we're going to talk to, or actually probably start with talking to Ed Testa from IE Rovers, the president of the SoCal Rover Club. We're going to talk to him about the fact that he's sponsoring the Rebelle Rally Defender, the
What a
22-23 Rebelle Rally Defender for the girls. And we're going to talk about all the work he did, all the parts that he's put in, some of the folks that helped him out get it done. So very exciting.
what a generous fellow. I can't wait to talk to him. Seems
All
like
right.
a super nice guy.
Let's load up the interview machine with, maybe a
Couple of
I
fire
don't-
extinguishers this
a
time.
couple of fire extinguishers and the contents of a 4,000 milliamp hour lipo battery, and just see what happens.
Let's get after it.
All right, so we're joined by Ed Testa and Eddie Mah, both from the Southern California Land Rover Club, now the SoCal Rover Club. So for those of you who maybe knew the rebranded for a whole new world of rovering, and now totally inclusive to Rover car owners, of which I've almost been like twice in the last year, but still
It's been close. It's been close.
I've avoided it. I've avoided it both times. Although there's that 200 TDI Rover car that he sent me. That
I
looks
sent
pretty
you
sweet.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a P6 with a 300 TDI for sale in Ottawa, maybe? Yeah.
Something like that. Sounds about right. That sounds like Dixon may have had something to do with that particular conversion.
I love that they took a car that's worth nothing and put an engine that's worth something and made something that's really cool. It's just
really
not
cool.
a conversion that you would normally see.
You would normally see, no,
Yeah.
or that really makes any sense. But
No.
anyway, so first of all, I thought we'd start with our good friend Ed Testa from IE Rovers down here in beautiful Lake Elsinore, California, just south of Los Angeles, who is Rover engineer extraordinaire and a sponsor of the 2022-2023 Rebelle Rally team, made up by, of course, Liza and Jenna. Ed had the Defender for a good amount of time and worked very hard to solve what is a persistent cooling issue in that particular vehicle. So, Ed, welcome and thanks for joining us. And again, thank you for sponsoring the Rebelle Rally team and for putting in all the sweat and tears and literal blood into the car.
That was a real challenge getting that thing up and going with some very fun twists to it as well.
Yeah, it is cooling now like it's supposed to, way better than it has ever in its life. The high performance aluminum racing radiator makes a big difference to that old Rover motor. So tell me a little bit about, as you know, it's funny because we've known each other a very long time, but I guess I've never really gotten the rundown. Tell me a little bit about IE Rovers and where it came from and how you ended up in a world where you deal with mostly Discovery, Defender, and the occasional Range Rover Classic and things like that, right? Is that sort of your sweet spot?
That's my ideal spot. Yeah, the old stuff, and it Land Rover for me, it started on a fluke. Back in 2001, I got hired at the dealership, walking down the street, just filling out applications, and they needed somebody immediately. I was pretty much hired on the spot. That started an 11-year stint at the dealership, writing service, and service manager there. And eventually I needed a change. I went out and worked for a little while for somebody else that I was introduced to by a Land Rover friend of mine. And then looked at my wife one day and said, honey, the whole time I was doing side work, and I looked at my wife one day and said, I need to quit my job.
And
So,
then
yeah,
IE Rovers was born.
kind of. It started first as IE Automotive Repair, and then transformed into IE Rovers because Land Rover people just followed me. Through even not doing them, they just followed me. So
It's a persistent group, difficult to get rid of. The Land Rover owner.
I think there's a cream for that.
Yeah. It's only partially effective. It relieves some of the itching, but doesn't get rid of any of the burning. So that's
does it get rid of the green blood?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Well, that's super cool. And so what's a day-to-day vehicle that's going to come in and out of the shop for you? What kind of stuff are you working on primarily?
We do a lot of discoveries, Disco 1s, Disco 2s. Like those are the main, there's so many of them out there. We just deal a lot with them. We, for years and years and years, specialized in building Rover engines, so, the 4046 engines, we just inherently kind of fell into the discoveries, the classics, the Defenders. All of those tend to be the cars that, we just tend to funnel through. So we work on some of the new stuff, and we get all generations every once in a while. So it's just a sad little Freelander, but
Yeah.
Is there another kind?
Most people I try to talk out of buying them or owning them.
Yeah. Ed actually sent me the ad for the Freelander that we own, the Underpowered Hour company car. So he is the impetus for said ownership of the undisputed king of all Land Rovers, the G4 Orange Freelander. But that's a great segue into Ed, how is the Freelander doing? Last time I was there picking up the Defender, it was in many pieces and undergoing a near total overhaul, as I think all Freelanders need to. I think I've easily quadrupled the investment in that Freelander, which, to be fair, wouldn't take much, but still, all Freelanders, when purchased used, need at least 5 times their purchase value to then get them to run again. So how is Project Undisputed King of Land Rovers?
At this moment, putting the back timing belts on, and then it's going back together. The front's all set up. The engine is still in little pieces. There are still boxes now spread across the shop. Around the car, there are parts everywhere, and
I like it. The Freelander's sense of sort of like detritus. It's like a hedge that you or a weed that it plant, and then next thing you know, it's everywhere. You just you're finding Freelander parts under everything, and yeah, it's good. That's good. Well, we're very excited to get that project back on the road, so that 20 minutes after it's back together, something else can blow up. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be it's an adventure.
It needs like a full restoration every 10,000 miles. There's a label actually in the owner's manual. It says, it's just part of the service schedule. Full restoration, 10,000 miles.
Skip the oil change, replace engine, transmission, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Now, our good friend John Kosick over at the Center Steer podcast, I found out, has the engine to his Freelander. It's actually the only surviving part, apparently, to his Freelander. His, of course, was a chimney apparently fell on it and destroyed it, and the only piece left is the engine. So I am going to reach out to John and see if we can purchase that engine from him to have a spare entire engine for the Freelander. It seems only fair. I will say that on the last Center Steer podcast that Dixon challenged John to start a Freelander registry, much like the any Land Rover registry that you prefer out there, Series 2, Series 3, the North American registry, whatever you're into. And I feel as though at this point, if it was one of the conditions for being on the registry was running, we would have potentially the only Freelander on that list. the audio. So happy to join John's Freelander list just as soon as he gets that.
The rarest Land Rover in North America. The
Running
running Freelander. It's almost as rare as the P38, where all the electronic equipment works.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. It's true. It's a close race. It's a very tight race between those two vehicles.
How do you feel about the P38? Tell us your thoughts on that car. You work on those very often?
I do work on P38s, but there are very few of them out there that actually come in. As a matter of fact, I have one coming in tomorrow.
Amazing.
He's got a mysterious air suspension leak, and so we have to.
Is it mysterious?
Mysterious.
You know, the funny thing is about the P38, not all that much unlike the Freelander, is that like the folks that love them, like really love them, you know, like they're really deeply into the P38 as a misunderstood Land Rover.
I got to give the P38 credit. Okay. The P38 is probably the nicest riding Land Rover ever built.
Mhm.
That said, not so great on the mechanical side, electrical side.
When it's riding, it's great.
Yes.
If you push it down a hill and get inside, wow, feels great.
It's just ecstasy.
Feels
Fantastic.
great. Yeah,
Feels
it's
great.
like riding on a cloud. It's amazing.
So, Ed, let's just talk for a moment about all of the things that happened sort of stem to stern on the Defender while you had it there, so that you can mention some of the folks that you know, sort of helped you you know, along the way, parts wise, special modifications wise, and maybe even some tips for that type of suspension setup owners, is where they can potentially make some things better. Our challenge to Ed was, you deal with this type of car on an almost daily basis. What are the things that you would do to essentially battle harden the Defender 90 to make sure that it can get through these you know, 2 weeks of grueling rally work? So what were some of those things, Ed? What did you do to the car?
The main thing that we did to really beef up the suspension on there was in the rear. The rear radius rod arms, the lateral arms that run to the rear axle from the frame, notoriously from the factory, are very thin and get dragged over rocks and bend very easily. And if I remember correctly, your left rear was already bent.
Yes.
Yes. So we contacted Simon at RTE. I deal with them all the time. I called him and I said, I'm in a pinch. I need this. He goes, I can do it in a few weeks. And I literally get a text a few minutes later that he showed me. It was like 3 hours later. I get this text with picture of the two arms already fabricated together. And he says, I just dropped what I was doing. I did it. I could hear how urgent this was. They're on their way to you tomorrow.
Yeah, and we really appreciate Simon and the RT guys, because man, you know, we had to get all of this work done in a very tight window so the girls could get out pre-running, which they've been doing now for the last couple of weeks, and so yeah, it all had to be back together by the time that we started you know, getting it prepped to go out over the last few weeks. So yeah, huge thank you to Simon, and those things are outstanding. They are a beefy piece. And replace some of the, you know, some of the Land Rover stock. There's no poly bush at the top anymore. It's now a proper articulating heim joint, and they look like, I mean, you could beat someone to death with one of these things. They are a serious piece of kit. So yeah, we really appreciate Simon and the hustle there.
Yeah, if you could pick them up and swing them around, they sure weigh a lot.
Yeah, they're like, they've got their own little mini rock sliders, and they're tubular, they're a square tube as opposed to just a single tube, and they're already sort of bent for, you know, to and welded that way so that they stick up underneath the car a little bit more than the old arms that hang down quite a bit more. So yeah, so super cool. So rear suspension, that happened, and then because we needed to spare out the drive shafts, new drive shafts.
Yes. Yeah, we got 2 new drive shafts on there from Tom Woods, and with Spicer joints in them, so they should be good to go. And then what else did we do on there? We did the cooling system. We put a new radiator in there for you, your Ron Davis radiator. That came with a couple challenges.
Yeah, because the oil cooler, a lot of people, I don't know if they know, the NAS Defender has the oil cooler integrated into the radiator, and that requires some interesting plumbing. That's actually the piece that on the, if you haven't changed your Defender oil cooling lines from the factory, that's what splits open and sprays hot oil all over your manifold and starts your car on fire. So that's an important thing to address for NAS Defender owners. Is more than a
Steve,
couple have been
planned
consumed.
obsolescence system
That's exactly right.
burns your car down, so you are required to buy a new car.
To just go buy a new car. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why we have to carry 2-3 extinguishers in our Defenders,
Yeah,
just
right.
in case
you
that
can never have
happens.
too many. Yeah, you can never have too many. Yeah, one under the hood, one under the
Every
car.
trip, you're bound to have 3 fires.
I just bring marshmallows. I skip right
Yeah.
to the
Just
the dinner party.
just let it
Enjoy
go.
it. Yeah.
Just let it go. Just let it go. Yeah, exactly. You got to plan for multiple fires. Actually, a trip with only 3 fires. This is a pretty good trip, actually. That's the fairly low. Yeah. So brand new cooling system. And that is a super high performance unit in there now. And then some overhaul of the starting sparking system.
That's right. We put the Archonix distributor in there and a blaster coil. The factory distributor literally came apart.
Yeah, it had seen a lot of miles. This is the original distributor to that car, 200,000 miles later. So it was probably time for a new one. So that's all working, sparking and starting and running beautifully and just humming along. So all ready to go. And we're getting the wrap on the car next week, and then a few finishing touches, and that's it. And then it's off to. It's
off to the
Tahoe.
races.
It's literally off to the races, as they say. So again, thank you, Ed, for all the help on that, and we really appreciate it. And the girls will be safer, one step safer because of all of the work that you've done. So it'll break down, but probably not for any of those reasons. So that's good. Let's move the breakdown to a different place. So, Ed, you're not just a Land Rover shop owner, mechanic, engineer, upgrader, but you also happen to be the current president of the SoCal Rover Club, along with our good friend Eddie Mah, who is the social media super ninja of the club. And you guys are not just here to talk about the Rebelle Rally Defender, but about a big SoCal Rover Club event coming up, a big annual event coming up this year, coming up in October. So talk to me a little bit about that, Eddie. What is the event, and where is it, and how can people find out more about it?
Well, the Rover Rendezvous is a long-standing tradition that our club's had. This is our 22nd year that we're going into, and it's our biggest social event. And it started out back in the day as being a multi-car club event between, it's San Diego Club, our club, and NorCal. And then some of the dealerships were involved. Remember, Las Vegas dealership was heavily involved at the beginning and truly sponsored and supported the club a lot. But this year we're going in and just having this big old festival. We're going to have, I believe we have about 8 or 9 trails that are going. We kind of have to adjust a little bit because of the big fire that is, I think, is still currently burning right now. But
that's going to be a fun trail. Holy
It
moly.
is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Started by a Land Rover, believe it or
That's
not.
started by a Land Rover. But it'll
For
be
one-
put out by a Land Rover. God help us. Yeah.
a Land Rover that didn't have a fire extinguisher with them.
Yeah, that's right. See, that's there. You
No,
go.
no.
They only had
it
2.
had
They
3.
used
It had 3, but 4 fires.
Yeah, but it's going to be taking place up in the beautiful San Bernardino National Forest, and our base camp's always at Hannah Flats Campground. And last year we had just about 100, or a little over 100 rigs come in from
Great
multi-state.
turnout.
Really good turnout. And this year we're probably going to be maybe a little bit shy of that. It's been a little bit tougher still coming out of COVID, but there's still a lot of excitement. The members just look forward to this every single year, and it's just a great family event. When we hang out at base camp, Ed could tell you guys a little bit more about some of the great activities that we'll be doing this year, but super fun activity. It's going to be happening the weekend of October 7th through the 9th. So just a few more weeks.
Very cool.
Fantastic. And can people still sign up? Is there still space?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think we have maybe about 30 spots left, and then that's it. We're done. September 30th will be the last date that you can register. This year there will be no registration at camp. So last year people could drive up and actually sign up the day of, but this year we're not doing that because logistically it caused a lot of headaches for us. Took a lot of time away from, all of our members that were attending. So we're holding fast to the September 30th cutoff date. And also, one of the big things that I want to throw a plug out is our huge raffle that we have. And Saturday night, after our wonderful, delicious barbecue dinner that we'll be having, it's catered. That's all included in the price. And the raffle members can go ahead and go to our website at SoCalRoverClub.org, and they can buy their raffle tickets in advance.
Oh, there's some great raffle items, as not just because raffle items are sort of the one part of the thing that I deal with, but and I didn't get most of the great raffle items this year. I think it's very important to note that man, there are some fantastic sponsors this year, though. What are some of the raffle items, Eddie?
Well, one of the biggest raffles, the one that just came in recently, Super Winch came through big time with us, and they just donated an SX10 winch, one of their latest models with the synthetic rope line in there.
Yeah, there's their B-Tech has got a radio setup that we're getting. Cars 4x4 has got those sweet aluminum tanks for the Discovery. That they're the overflow tank that is really super cool for the Discovery 2. There is an outdoor pizza oven from your good friends at the Underpowered Hour.
Nice.
Yeah, super sweet. Ike is going to put all his tickets in that one.
I love pizza outdoors too.
Oh, absolutely. It's the only way to enjoy the pizzas. But yeah, no, we've got some really cool stuff. So, and more stuff coming. We've got some camp ship stuff, but still stuff that'll get announced. But yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be a great evening. Some Southern California Rover Club merch, hoodies, toques, hats. Oh my God. The raffle bags the welcome bags are going to be incredible. Very cool stuff in there. I'm looking very forward to it. It's it's right in the middle of the Rebelle Rally. So Liza and Jenna will be out in the desert, and Cooper and I are heading up to do that. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to bring the undisputed king of all Land Rovers, as we just don't have enough drivers, and there's a hill involved to get there. So probably won't do that, but we'll bring the Trek Defender and some other fun stuff. So that'll be.
I just bought a new trailer. You could always borrow the trailer to bring it where
it's true. I could.
You should tow it.
You don't even have to drive it.
I mean, you should just get used to towing it.
We should just get used to it. We really should just get it its own trailer. It doesn't even really need a motor. Again, Dixon has been encouraging us to backdate it to a Series 1 drivetrain, just with a Freelander body to increase its reliability significantly.
It would. Yeah, it really actually would.
Oh, way more. Oh, yeah. It would be night and day difference. That might happen. Oh, we'll see. So, Ed, what kind of trails are available up there in Big Bear for those folks who maybe don't know or are thinking about committing and traveling down from another part of the country, maybe even coming out from the East Coast? Who knows?
Yeah, we've been doing this event up there for many, many, many years, and we try to change it up. There are a lot of trails up there. We're running 8 trails this year in all different directions off the mountain. Hannah Flats just happens to be a really good spot to use as a staging area. So the trails range from very beginner scenic trails, or just want to get your tires dirty and go for a nice drive, take the wife and kids out. And then, we have intermediate trails that are a little more challenging. We have a lot of requests for intermediate stuff. And then usually throw in one black diamond on there. So usually a small group will go out and hit the more challenging stuff. So, we have 8 trails total this year, and they are, we have already pre-run them. We have dedicated trail leaders in this group. So, the trail leaders have already gone out and pre-run their trails. So they're ready for it. And it's a great time. This year, going into this, I told everybody in the board, I said, look, we need to make it better. We can do better. And so we've really tried to step it up this year and put in a little more effort and just make a better event out of it.
We're going to try to accept credit cards. That's where
It
we're going to
sounds
go.
amazing. It sounds amazing. You got
Did you get your Starlink on order?
Yeah, we got to get the Starlink. That, I think, is the solution to our problem, is we've got to borrow somebody's Starlink or buy our own. That's what we're going to do.
Did you put your order in, Steve?
I know. I got to do it. I got to.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Yeah, I got to get it. I mean, it's on my list. It's on my list.
I showed my wife that the other day and told her she could work from the trailer, and she goes, "Let's get one."
Perfect. Done. It's good enough for me. So I guess the only other thing to sort of ask is what's the spread of vehicles that are normally seen at this event? What kind of, is there any limit on what kind of car should come? Too new, too old, or what's the deal there?
No, we don't discriminate there. We have a few members with series that come up there. Brad tried to get up there last year, but had a problem.
We almost got him up there. I just didn't have a spare distributor with me. Yeah.
I think he did come up, but he brought his mom or dad's Camry or something like that.
Yeah, he came up in the Camry. Yeah. I feel bad.
So, but we have everything from series. We have old Defenders. We have some NAS 110s that show up, and then we have Discoveries. It's everything. Everything Land Rover will show up there. We do have members with L322s, full size mid-year Range Rovers. Couple of P38s. I don't think we have anybody with a Freelander though.
Well, we're trying. We'll see. We'll see what we could do. We may have to. We're going to get a couple of oxen and lash them to the front of the Freelander, and we'll mule team Borax that sucker up there, and it'll be fine. But that's true. I don't think we've ever actually had a running Freelander attend, at least in the 15 years I've been doing it. I don't think there's been a Freelander. We're close to changing that.
It just doesn't exist. It hasn't been.
It just doesn't exist. There hasn't been one in 15 years. In the time it was sold to now, it just didn't exist. So we're working on it.
One requirement for sure, at least for vehicle preparation, well, I shouldn't say one, but a few real quick ones that we definitely want to make sure that people know before they come up. If they're not doing the easy trail, for sure, it's highly recommended that they have off-roading, good condition off-roading tires, full-size spare tire, no dummy tires, no donut tires, 2-speed locking transfer case. We've had a couple incidences in the past on several trails where someone didn't have a full-size spare, and it just makes for a long day for several people that have to go back and do some rescue work. So
we have to go out and patch and fill and whatever else we have to do. So
plus you got to steal everybody else's tire that's with you.
So we go tire shopping. Yes, it's almost every year we go tire shopping for who's got something we can borrow while we go recover this car and bring it back. Thankfully I opt out of most of those, as somebody's got to set up all the raffle items. So
and demonstrate the pizza oven.
Yeah, that's true. Ike and I will be making pizzas from your raffle pizza thing that you'll win. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you guys. I mean, it is awesome that this is the 22nd. I can't believe it. The 22nd year. I kind of remember the first one that I went to. I think it was 14 or 15. Sort of saying like, "Wow, there's been 15 of these already." And now, it was way more than that. It was like 10 maybe, because it's been almost 15 years now. So it's been who knew where time flies when you're dragging somebody off of a trail because they didn't have a full-size spare. But anyways, no guest, of course, as you guys know, as I know you both listen to the show, leaves without first running the gauntlet of the most difficult set of questions in the Land Rover podcast realm. We've compared notes with John and Dan and Ivan, and they all agree these are by far the most difficult question. Coincidentally, they have all answered these questions, which is interesting. But Ike, are you ready for the world famous Ike Goss lightning round questions?
Yeah, I think we should just alternate between Ed and Eddie. How do you feel about that, guys?
Ooh, the Ed and Eddie configuration, the most dangerous configuration.
This could be. This could be good. All right. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
We'll start with Ed. Ed, gas or diesel?
Oh, gas.
Gas. All right. And Eddie, leaves or coil springs?
Coil. all the way.
Ooh, ouch.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Ed, bronze or Esnor green?
It's a tricky question. You know, when I think of the bronze, I think of the Maya gold, you know.
Okay.
When that came off, when the first one showed up at the dealership, I turned around and saw it on the transport truck. I said, "Oh my God, they're not releasing that color." But no, I would definitely go with the green.
They're both green. Bronze
The
green
bronze?
or Esnor green?
Oh, Esnor green.
All right. All right. All right.
Go Esnor green.
Eddie, Disco 1 or Disco 2?
1.
I can answer that one too. Disco 1.
Disco
One.
1. It's
All the
unanimous.
way.
It's unanimous.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. And Ed, bias ply or radial tire?
Well, that depends if it's a Troubadour or not. I mean, Troubadours, you go bias ply, but radials.
Radials. All right. You guys made 100% of the questions. You got all the correct answers. Congratulations.
Were there any wrong answers?
Oh,
There's
definitely.
only wrong answers. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's
The ones you didn't
theme.
say, those are the wrong ones.
That's the theme. That's the theme of the whole show. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks again, Ed. Thank you, and thanks IE Rovers for all of the work on the Rebelle Rally 22-23 Defender. And Eddie, thank you for coming on and talking about the event. And hopefully everybody heads over to SoCalRoverClub.org and checks it out. There's still a little bit of space left. I think there's maybe 10, not even 10. I think there's less than 10 spots, but and I don't think there's any place to stay. But that's all right. Come on up, anyways. Yeah, thanks again, guys, for coming on, and thanks for all your help with everything. And we'll talk to you again very soon, I'm sure. We'd love to check in and get a recap after the event. And Ed, I'm sure as we do the wrap-up show for the Rebelle Rally, if you're out in Palm Springs at the finish line party, we'll have to include you in that as well. So again, thanks, guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, always great to talk to those guys. Looking so forward to having the Freelander back. I bet I'm not looking as forward to having it back as Ed is to having it gone.
I wouldn't doubt that. I think you are the sole individual enthusiast of Freelanders, besides our good friend Phil at the Dunsfold Land Rover Museum, who is a bigger enthusiast of the Freelander than yourself.
He is.
He has an amazing collection of pearlescent diesel Freelanders there in the UK. But the Eds are great, super nice guys, and I really hope that everyone can make it to the Rover Rendezvous for the SoCal Land Rover Club. That's going to be a great event.
Oh, it's going to be super good. So yeah, if you haven't got your registration yet, as again, camping is pretty full already, but hey, maybe you find something or stay in the town. Lots of great hotels in Big Bear too. And you can buy a ton of meth there. So
yeah, and there'll be scalpers for this.
For sure. Yeah. The big line as you go in, there'll be all kinds of guys. And yeah, exactly. Mostly in Land Cruisers. Yeah. So that's how they do it. So one little bit of business, as of course our usual shout out to please go to the Apple Podcasts and will you rate this podcast and will you rate it high? We hope the answer to that is yes. Liza and Jenna depend on it. I don't know why they do, but because something terrible will happen if you don't rate this podcast 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. Only 5 stars. We're getting more aggressive with it. Like at first it was like, we're going to ask you nicely to do it. Now, give us like episode 90, we'll be threatening you.
We have decals made. It's 5 stars or else.
Yeah, exactly. Those will be available on the Underpowered Hour store. Get one for friends. So one especially exciting bit of news is we are going to do an Instagram live from our famous Bob and and the crew up there at Pangolin 4x4. That went so swimmingly when we had Bob Ives said, we had and our ill-gotten Overland Expo live. We've now perfected it. We think we've got this. The only issue is I just realized now Nolan Yap is not going to be involved in this event. We'll have to figure that out. I'm going to reach out to Nolan after this. We'll get a schedule. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So we are going to do a live stream from the sort of start of the Rebelle Rally on Wednesday, October 5th at 5:30 Pacific time. So mark your calendars and tune in to the Underpowered Hour Instagram or the Overland Her Instagram. We're going to do a mashup. We're going to do some interviews. The girls are going to try to find other Land Rover Rebels. It's going to be chaotic. If you've ever watched Formula One coverage in Miami, it's going to be just like that. You know, you never know who's going to show up.
Same production crew.
It's exactly the same production crew. DJ Khaled might show up. We don't know. Could be anybody. Anything's possible. So that's going to be on the Instagram Live. How that works, I don't know. And I think we've proven that. Wednesday, October 5th at 5:30 Pacific time. And we'll obviously put that on the socials and everything. So, but if you're driving your Series Land Rover right now, use that third hand to go ahead and jot it down somewhere. Just go ahead and write that down so that you have it. First of all, if you're driving your Series Land Rover right now, how are you listening to this? What headphones do you have that get this loud enough to actually understand us? That is impressive.
I'm impressed.
So that's it for this week. Another great one in the books. Ike, I have put your Defender Trophy Edition on order. Land Rover has forbid us, however, from competing in the event, no matter how many of them we buy. So we'll just be for show.
We've been blackballed by Jerry.
It's amazing. Yeah, he's just, I like to think we had a moment with Jerry. He thought we were related. We had a little joke, and I feel like moments after he whispered to someone, "Make sure those guys never get into one of these things again." And,
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened.
And the next,
do we have time for the Nando's review today?
Unfortunately, because of all of the talk about the live stream, we have unfortunately run out of time for Nando's this week. We have made a commitment to get it back on the schedule. The people at Nando's have reached out and are interested in sponsoring the spice rack on the side of the G4 Defender with Nando's peri peri sauce. So we'll make sure that we include that in our review, where Ike and Linus drink a bottle each of peri peri sauce. And
they're just going to replace the washer fluid with peri peri sauce.
It's the only way to get the windows just perfectly clean. Just so good.
Perfectly seasoned.
Perfectly seasoned. Just delicious. Just delicious. That way, if you hit a bird or something with on the way, it's ready to go.
It's already done.
It's ready to go. All right. Well, it's been a slice as always. We will see you next week, and good luck out there.
All right. Take care, man.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Barris, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Barris. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.